right, welcome everyone, and welcome to our first edition of the Coaches Corner Show. We're live here at YoHo Rum and Taco at the Wharf in Orange Beach. My name is Tracy Williams with Sunny 105.7. We're excited for our new program. We're glad we have a huge audience here. Large crowd. There we go. Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our host, Shane Alexander. And Shane, we're really looking forward to a great show tonight, and we're going to bring Coach in as well.
Yeah, Tracy, we're appreciative of your time allowing us to do this. We're excited about it. This is something I know Chastity Key had approached me about a month ago about possibly doing this, and I was like, absolutely, let's run with that. And it gives us a chance to talk about our kids and our coaches and our, and what we're doing athletically in Orange Beach. So yeah, we're excited, and especially excited tonight because tonight we're going to be talking to the head football coach, Wade Waldrop, and many people don't know Wade's from my hometown, or I'm from his hometown, but we're both from Hartselle, so I'm excited to have another Hartselle guy down here with me. And tonight we're going to talk football and how fall camp went, and then we'll get into last week's game and kind of look forward. But Coach, we're glad to have you, and when we're going to talk football, it's been a few years since I've coached football, but Friday night was a big win for the Makos. But we're excited to have you, and maybe you could talk a little bit about fall camp and how that went with the Makos.
Absolutely. Look, super excited to be here. Awesome venue. Done a few of these over the years, never had a backdrop or a venue like this. This is an amazing place to here at the Wharf to have this show. But look, very grateful for the opportunity to be here. And Shane, if you want to get back into football, we've got a spot if you need something else on your plate.
Yeah, I need something else to do.
Look, fall camp's going really well. I'm new. I've been here since January. I've got new staff members, and we spent most of the summer and spring, just trying to build relationships with our kids. Football is important. In order to get the most out of those guys, you have to build relationships, trust, and it takes time to do that. That doesn't just happen overnight. It doesn't just happen in a month. You have to work. You have to show up every day and stack a lot of days in order to do that. And I like where we are with our kids. I like the look that I see in their eyes. I like how we're working and how we're growing. And I've said it publicly over and over again. Every day when we go out, we have a great opportunity to get better. There's just a ton of room to improve, and I think we're getting there.
Absolutely. So we've got about 30 seconds before our commercial break. So I know you brought some guys with you real quick, and we'll get back to that after the commercial break. But, you've got a tremendous staff.
We do.
A lot of former head coaches, guys that have been doing it a while. And so when I look down at the sidelines Friday night, that's a lot of football knowledge you have out there.
There is, and it takes that. You want to provide the very best for your kids. And, our school system, from our superintendent through our board, along with our mayor and our city council, they want the best for our kids. And getting experienced people here that know how to coach kids, know how to get the most out of kids and prepare them is very important. And I'm grateful for the people that we have that we're working with daily.
Absolutely. So we're going to come back from a commercial break, and let's talk about those coaches, and then we'll get into some players and what Friday night looked like.
All right, we'll get ready to do that. Well, before we go to break, just want to remind everybody we're at the YoHo Rum and Taco at the Wharf in Orange Beach. Talking Makos football. Come on out for great food and drinks. $2.50 tacos tonight, so make sure you stop down and catch up on all the football and all the things happening with Orange Beach. We'll take a break and come right back after this on Sunny 105.7. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. We are live at YoHo Rum and Taco at the Wharf in Orange Beach with a beautiful view. Talking football, nothing much better than doing that. Again, thanks to our sponsors, Bryant Bank, Brett Robinson, Wildcat Construction, Meat Mart at Orange Beach, Look Dental and Vision, Alabama Credit Union. Really grateful for their involvement in this show. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over again to our host, Shane Alexander.
All right, Coach Waldrop. So before we went to commercial break, we were talking, your coaching staff and the experience you have. Let's talk a little bit about, I know you brought 2 guys down here. So if you would, talk a little bit about the coaches and what you got there.
Yeah, absolutely. There are already some guys here on staff that I got to know from January until May before our other new guys arrived. John Holliday, Scott Manziel, Josh Hoyle, Kyle Stewart, Mark Weiss-Elston. Those guys were here on staff last year, helped me a lot through the transition, getting to know our kids, telling me a lot about them, just giving me background on where we were so that I could, make the decisions that we needed to make moving forward. But we were fortunate to be able to bring in an offensive coordinator, Wiley McKellar, who have spent the last 5 years with. Did 3 years with him at James Clemens, a year at Florence, and then 6 years, and then 2 years at Hoover. Knew Wiley. He was the head coach at Calera back in Shelby County, and we competed against each other, so I'd known him for a while, and brings a lot of experience from Texas, Alabama. Does a good job connecting with our kids and, really trying to do things that he feels like our kids can do and be successful at. Defense coordinator Steve Davis, got to work with Coach Davis for 3 years, 2019 through 2022 at James Clemens High School. He was our defense coordinator, and he was a head coach at Springville for many years. Right. And again, just another guy that had worked with kids that are, from same type of background as our kids, got the absolute most out of them. He had been in Georgia the last few years and got back into Alabama. So just glad to have Coach Davis here. Our families, being back together and working, it's a really good vibe. And, picked up one other guy that, we really didn't know a lot about, but we got here and there was a gentleman working with the city that had spent 30 years coaching in Texas as a head coach and athletic director and administrator, a principal, and all these different things. And, his wife wanted to move to the beach, and they chose Orange Beach, and she's a nurse. And Dwayne Croker joined our staff. I think he works with our defensive backs right now. Also coaches our 9 to 12 kids, or our 10 to 12 U kids there in the park. So we're getting a total vertical alignment of our program down through our 10-year-olds up through our 12th graders, and these guys are a valuable part of it, a big part of it, and I feel like we've got a really good staff.
Yeah, it's incredible the experience they have, and I didn't know that about DK either until the other day we were talking, and I was, you've got 4 or 5 head coaches, on your staff, which, that's impressive. Let's get a bit of the offense with, I know Coach McKellar and, coming from Hartselle and with my background, we were always, everybody was running the spread, and you guys, well, I think you showed the jumbo package even a little the other night. So talk a little offense with us.
Well, the big thing we want to do is figure out what fits our kids. Exactly. And, I think as kids come in and out of your program with different skill sets and different abilities, it allows you to do different things offensively. And you've got to start somewhere. You've got to get good at something. And, I just feel on every level, you've got to be able to control the line of scrimmage to win the football game. I think that starts on the offensive line and defensive line. So, we are a spread, no huddle. That would be our base rhythm. If you said, what was your junior varsity, your middle school, what does that look like? That's kind of who we are. We do have a short yardage package, very similar to some of the things they were doing a year ago, so that naturally fit. But again, just want to get our best players on the field, and at quarterback right now, J.W. McAlpin is our quarterback, junior. He's doing a good job. I've been pleased the last 2 weeks. He's done a great job taking care of the football, and we had a really good conversation after our first scrimmage about 2 weeks ago. Just if he will take care of the football, we're going to have a chance to win. I can remember Don Woods telling me as a young quarterback back in the day, son, it's not your job to win it, but it is surely your job not to lose it. And at the quarterback position, we're not going to ask our quarterback to win it, but we are going to ask him to take care of the ball, distribute it, value it, and let's keep that ball moving. I think he's done a great job. Our offensive skill guys, we've got a few guys that came back from last year at running back in our F position. You got Chase Hoyle, who's a senior, Damian Brazil, Aiden Key, and then coming over from the defensive side, Blake Brunick and Braden Hood. So it's kind of by committee right now, looking for each one of those guys to step up and be ready to go. Chase kind of is overcoming an injury. He was out in our jamboree. We actually got him back last week, so looking forward to Chase, stepping up and providing a little bit for us over the next couple of weeks. But those guys are doing a good job. They're going to be featured, and we just need them to hang on to the football. We've turned it over a little bit more than we would like to the last couple of weeks. But for us, it all starts up front, and that's the biggest thing. Getting our kids to understand, and I don't know where it's, what the value's been here in the past, but the programs that we've been in, when we've been at our best, our offensive linemen have driven the culture of our team, and we are trying our best to empower those guys to be the culture setters of our team. And I think we've got a big group up front. We've got a few inexperienced guys, a couple of guys that are back, Jay Lanford, Cooper Sanders. Those guys played a lot of snaps last year. Sam Fettner played a little bit last year, Kyle Greek. And then you throw in the sophomore Dylan Adams. Those will be our 5 offensive linemen that we're leaning on right now. I like how they're working. I like how they're developing. Everything we do, our success, our failure is going to kind of come behind those guys. To play that position, you got to be selfless in a way, because outside of this show, there's not going to be a lot of nights where people are mentioning their names. But I can tell you, we don't throw the ball, we don't run the ball, we're not in our short yardage without those guys doing work, and they've gotten better every week. I hope they can understand. I hope their parents can understand. The ceiling for them is very high, and if they will just continue to work and listen and do the things we're asking them to do, we think they can be a very good unit.
Yeah, they're a large unit.
They are. Big group of kids.
Big group, and it was even Friday night. I thought we ran the ball.
We did.
Well,
we did.
Like you said, we got to hold on to it, but I think, and I could be wrong, running the ball is going to be one of our strengths. I mean, that's a big offensive line.
Yeah.
4A football, you got to have it. But
that's it.
Yeah. What about the receivers? What do we got out there?
Well, I like our skill kids. I really think when you just look at who we are, I think we're big up front. And I think we've got some guys that can run on the outside. At receiver, Caden Showles, I would say, has been the most consistent guy that we've had touching the football, and that's shown the last couple of weeks. He's touched the football a variety of ways at receiver, kick returns, doing a really good job. At tight end, Logan Cruz, Austin Beck, those two guys handle that tight end or sniffer off the ball guy. Logan is super smart, very intelligent, knows everything that's going on, and he is a fighter. Just love what he does for us. Obviously, everybody knows Austin, biggest guy we got out there. Tough kid, very skilled. Austin does a lot of things for us. At wide receiver, I mentioned Caden Showles. You've got freshman Lee Steele, Miller Day, a sophomore that's played a lot last week. Zane Kennan, Tyler Crossland, Dawson Drake, Brennan Julian, and Chris Taylor. There are 6 to 7 guys that we feel confident in rolling in there and playing and catching balls and doing the job that we're asking them to do. At the 4A level, me transitioning back into this classification from about 15, 16 years ago, making sure you have enough guys ready that can be ready to play on Friday night is very, very important. And I think our coaching staff's done a good job of crossing guys over, getting them reps, preparing them to play on Friday nights.
Yeah, you gotta have that depth. Especially early on in the season. The heat and the cramps. I know we had a few that went down the other night, but to have that depth, very important.
I was just going to say the other night, we stayed on the field a lot. We did have some cramps. I think if we can hang on to the ball and get off the field on defense a little better, I think those guys can make it through the course of the game.
All right, we're going to take another commercial break. Again, we are live with the Coach's Corner on Sunny 105.7 at YoHo Rum and Tacos at the Wharf in Orange Beach. We'll come back after this time out on Sunny 105.7 FM. Welcome back to YoHo Rum and Tacos at the Wharf in Orange Beach. We are live with our Coach's Corner. First show, and so far things are going great. The rain stayed away, and we're talking football. A reminder, thanks to our sponsors, Alabama Credit Union, Look Dental and Vision, Meat Mart at Orange Beach, Wildcat Construction, Brett Robinson, and Bryant Bank. And with that, here's Shane.
All right, Coach. Before the break, we were talking offense. So let's talk a little defense and, Coach Davis running that crew. What have you seen early on in camp and this first game that you liked on defensive end?
I like our effort. We base out of a 3-3 defense, so that's 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and then 5 defensive backs. Our effort is really good there. I think we've got some experienced players there. The biggest thing we've got to do and get better at, we've got to tackle better, and we have worked it. We've worked it every day, work it a lot. I just think if we can tackle better, we're going to get off the field and give our offense a chance to stack up more plays. And that's the emphasis. I think this past week we're going to the Alberta game. We had a little bit from a scrimmage that they had, but we kind of went into that game blind defensively with not really knowing exactly what they were going to do. And sure enough, they came out and they really went heavy wide zone stretch, and we had not seen that. We had not worked on that. And from a defensive standpoint, technique standpoint, that's the stuff you work on during the week after you watch film. So we didn't really have a lot to go off of, but I thought at halftime our guys did a good job of adjusting, setting the tone for the second half. Defensively, I thought we played better in the second half, but we turned the football over on offense, so it didn't really complement each other the way it needed to. Feel good that we're going to get that worked out this week.
Yeah, so let's talk about those guys on defense. The D line, the big guys up front. What do we got up front for the Makos?
Yeah, I would say that's the most experienced group we've got coming back on our team. You throw Austin Beck in that group, Daniel Hembry, Hayden Hines, I think, is a sophomore that's playing quite a bit. Adrian D'Antonio, Braden Penton. We've got kind of 5 guys there that are, primarily defensive guys, and then you throw 3 or 4 of those offensive guys, Kyle, Sam, Jay Lampford in defensively. Dylan Adams was actually in the game last Friday night in overtime and recovered the fumble. So that was one of our offensive linemen. It's by committee there, and you got to have a lot of defensive linemen in this league just because you got to try to stay fresh.
Yeah, and especially in this heat early on, and then my favorite group, the linebackers. The other night, Blake Brunick, he reminds me a lot of a Hartzell kid and the way he plays. But let's talk about that linebacker group that you have.
Look, I think it's a good group. You got Braden Hood. Not the biggest kid, but as fun a kid to coach as you will ever be around. Plays very hard. Always got a great demeanor. Just gets after it. I think reminds me of some guys I played with back in the day. Blake Brunick, you said it. Even today at practice, just noticing the flow of our team goes as Blake goes. If Blake is dialed in, locked in, communicating, playing really hard, practicing really hard, there's 10 other guys on that side of the ball that are doing that as well. If Blake takes a little bit of a time off or a play off, you can see that in everybody else's body language. There's no doubt he's an alpha, and we need him every day, giving everything he's got. And, the other night he missed the entire second quarter. We were super glad to get him back. I was giving him a hard time in the second half that he just, he wasn't in shape enough. He had to take the second quarter off in order to get through the second half. Of course, I was joking with him, but played really good. Blocked a kick the other night. Works really hard, and I would say is a leader on the field for us. Matthew Hoover, middle linebacker, very intelligent player, is getting better every day. I thought played really well the other night. Missed some tackles. I know Coach E was on him and getting him better, but he is getting better as we go. And then you throw James Key in there, who's kind of the hybrid of all of those guys. James is a linebacker, but he can also play a little bit of defensive line. And, we bring him into some situations that allows him to use the abilities that he has.
Right. Especially in that 3-3, maybe, you guys walk a linebacker down every now and then or whatever.
And I'll mention one more. Luke Reed the other night, sophomore. The last 2 weeks, Luke has had to go into the game for somebody at different points in time, and Luke got thrown in there for Blake when Blake went out, and then when Matthew went out. And Luke has done a good job of doing exactly what he's asked to do. He's been very coachable and doing the things his coaches are asking him to do, and has really risen in the times that he's had to get in the ball game the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about the DBs, the 5 in the back. What do we got back there for the Makos?
Again, we play with 5. You can count Blake as the 5th, Brunick is the 5th, so that would leave 4 of the guys. But we have 6 or 7 guys that are rotating in and playing there. Caden Showes filled a huge role the other night, stepped in and played corner. He's really been working at safety, did a great job playing corner for us. Brennan Julian at safety, Dawson Drake, another safety. Matthew Steele at corner. Matthew was more of an offensive guy last year, played quarterback. I tell you, I enjoyed watching Matthew play baseball this spring. I just thought his demeanor on the mound, it was really good.
Wants the ball.
Wants the ball. No, there's no doubt about it. And then, seeing him transitioning over to defense, which not sure if that's really what he wanted to do, but his length and his athleticism at corner has been really good for us. And then Chris Taylor, another one that is very athletic and has done a good job out there.
All right, you're listening to Coach's Corner on Sunny 105.7 FM. We'll take a break and come back. We are at YoHo Ramen Tacos. They've got $2.50 tacos tonight, so make sure you stop down after the show, say hello. We'll take a break and come back on Sunny 105.7 FM. We are back live at the Coach's Corner. So glad to have you along for our initial show. We're going to jump right back into it to give as much time as we can. If you haven't been out here yet, come on out. And with that, here's Shane Alexander.
All right, Coach, we got a few minutes left, so I'm just going to let you jump in there. Let's talk a little bit, special teams, something I know you were so good at in high school and played collegiately. Talk a little bit about special teams, and then I'll let you wrap it up with what we got coming up this Friday night.
Yeah, it is very important, and I think our kids are starting to understand how I value it, and they're valuing it, and it changed the game the other night. Super proud of our guys there. We want to get after kickers, we want to block kicks, we want to return kicks, we want to change the game in special teams, and everywhere I've been, that's what we do, and that's going to be the expectation here. Sanders Semi-Close is our place kicker and punter and is doing a great job for us. Really gives us an advantage there, experienced guy, and just been fun to watch him work over the last couple of months, to prepare for this season.
Yeah, he's got a strong leg. Absolutely. All right, let's talk about a little bit about this upcoming game with the Citronelle Wildcats.
Yeah. Look, we're going up in class again. I think last week was the first week in Orange Beach football history that in the football program we went up in class and played. And we went and played a 5A. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Alberta's the largest 5A in the state. Well, we're going up in class again and going right back into their region this week to play another 5A opponent. Very talented team. We do have a little bit of film on them from this past week of their game with Millery. Got a very dynamic quarterback. They're big up front on the offensive and defensive lines, and they've got some athleticism. I think our coaching staff's done a good job of breaking them down. I think our kids understand what they do, and I think our kids are starting to understand. Hopefully by tomorrow when we're done with practice on Wednesday, they're going to have a really good idea of the things they have to do in order for us to be successful.
Yeah, and so that game is going to be here, our first home game. It's also going to be senior night. So it'll be at the Orange Beach Sportsplex at 7 o'clock. We're inviting everybody to come out. And in a scheduling note, I just want to remind everybody, we'll be back doing this again September 10th is our next show. We'll have Coach Waldrop on again, and we can get into, we'll talk a little Citronelle game and obviously, the previous game. But Coach, we appreciate having you on here. I know we just got a few seconds left. Is there anything you want to say about possibly the Alberta game? That was a big rival, a big crowd.
It was a great environment.
Probably the biggest crowd I've seen since I've been down here at Orange Beach.
It was a great environment. I really didn't know what to expect size-wise, but you went into their stadium, new stadium, big crowd. And our fans showed out. You could hear our cheerleaders all night. You could hear our student section all night. The band did a great job. Awesome crowd here tonight. We need a big one there Friday night for our seniors. What better way to kick off the home football season than to recognize, the guys that are the face of the program, your senior class. So we just need a big crowd there and looking to keep this momentum going.